Hello and welcome to Conspiracy in Real Time, the greatest show on earth. My name is Joshua Stonecutter. I'm coming to you medicated and unregulated, and I mean that for real. There's nobody influencing me. I don't think. There's people trying to. Medicated, unregulated, never subjugated, not to be underrated or underestimated. All right, so these are the topics that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about directed conversation and mind control. We're going to talk about TIs, targeted individuals. We're going to talk about narcissistic abuse and big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. And we're going to talk about architecture and the underground. Welcome to the underground. Let's go ahead and talk about the tracks today. I picked this one out because of the artwork. I think you guys will agree. It's pretty trippy, bro, right? Let's see here. This is Sweat, the track Sweat. And it's on Tide Records. Really, really good track. And then back here, we've got Classic, Glow Records, Sun Hump. Let me see the name of the track. Okay. Viridian, Viridian, Sun Hump. Side A, Lima Remix, Leama. Any Lima remix is going to be pretty good. And then side B is MIJK, Van DIJK Remix. And this record was pressed in 1998. So this is a classic. This was, the rave scene was like at its height. Was probably at its height in Florida and other places. It was like peaking when this record came out. The rave scene was peaking when this record came out. This record sold for $9.99 when it came out. This one sold for $10.29. People sell these online for like cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like you might be able to find this record for like $5 on the internet, on Discogs. But this is the interesting thing. Me selling them as like a private seller, I think that people like the fact that that they're not buying it from a record store, so they know it's getting like that personal look and touch and everything. But like these records, man, like this one has been played. You can tell it's been played. It's got some scratches in it, but I don't think they will affect the play. I'm not sure. So this record, because of the condition it's in, I'll probably sell for like $10, $15. Like, look, they're not making any more of these. And, I might do that today. I might get like a crate because they already have these records on Discogs. So you can look them up. You don't have to like upload the artwork. You don't have to upload the track list. Do you see what I'm saying? You just have to find the record and they're all on there. So once you find the record, you add it to your collection and then you choose whether or not you want to sell it and you put a price on it. I was choosing to send records over to Europe too. I was selling records for like $50-$60. I've sold some records for over $100. And the funny thing is that the records that I sold for over $100 were records that had like artwork like this. The track I didn't even like, and the audio quality on the track wasn't even that great. People like want them for nostalgia purposes. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, I met my wife at that rave or whatever when this track was playing, or I used to DJ or I'm DJing. A lot of it's like closet DJs. I call them closet DJs, and that's where this record collection came from. My friend Ben, who passed away. They told me he passed away from an apparent stroke. For all I know, he just moved down to the underground. Maybe that's all that happened. But they said he died of an apparent stroke. I believe that he probably did pass away. And his parents gave me his record collection. He was a closet DJ. So like if you go through my records, if you go through like a crate that was my records that I used to like play clubs and house parties, the records still play and I could still play parties with them, but the records are like, they're trashed. You know what I'm saying? Like to look at them, it's like, whoa, man. They like I said, they play fine. They're very, very used. I was always super careful. You know what I mean? Like, there's some DJs that would just throw the records on top of each other. Like, I've seen DJs just do horrible things to records. So I was like in the middle in terms of the way I treated them. I didn't treat them as well as Ben. I actually take he has plastic sleeves on all these. I take the plastic sleeves off just to cut down on the glare for my show. But as soon as I'm done taping, I put them back in the plastic sleeves. But even having this record sit like this is not good. This is how you have them sit when like this track is playing, so you'll leave it out so you can put it right back in the slot where you picked it out. And every DJ in Florida would get these crates from Publix. Everybody, like, that's all my crates are, and it's used by other than Publix, prohibited by law. Look, I didn't take this thing, okay? All right, it was given to me. So please don't come after me, Publix, you know what I mean? They're an employee-owned company, so who knows? I could have all the employees coming after me. You guys know I'm being facetious. What's up, Matt? Or said Matt was watching. I don't think he is anymore. My cousin was in here for a second. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the topics. This is the first one, and this is a big one for anybody who is a targeted individual, for anybody who is just going around functioning in society today. But especially for the TIs out there, for the targets out there, you need to know about directed conversations. All right. Let me tell you how directed conversations work. Okay. You have a friend, right? Quote unquote friend, because let me remind you, okay? Let me back up a second. Let me just back up a second, all right? Let me just take a breath because I need to start this bit a little bit differently, okay? When you are under mind control, you don't know that you're under mind control. And if you're in a cult, the best cults, you're not in a cult. You don't know that you're in a cult. You're part of a movement. Do you see what I'm saying? You're part of an organization. You've taken an oath. You've made promises to people. They don't really have the power over you that you think that they do. They don't. All right, so this ties in with the targeting. The directed conversation. Let's just go through a few scenarios here, okay? A friend or loved one who you think is a friend, who you think is a friend and a loved one, they mention to you that they think you should buy, or they mentioned that they heard something about these new shoes. They're called On Cloud shoes, right? And they talked to somebody today who was wearing a pair at Subway, and they said, I don't know why I just plugged Subway, but they were, and they said they were really cool. And that's all it is. And your spouse or loved one just mentions them in passing. Okay, I've never heard of those, Then the next time you go out, you see people wearing these shoes and you've never seen them before. They have emblems on them that you've never seen. And you ask somebody, what kind of shoes are those? And they say, oh, these are On Clouds. Have you ever heard of them? Huh. Well, what a coincidence. Do you see? This is how it works. What a coincidence. My blank was just telling me about those shoes. And here you are wearing some in the store. What a coincidence. And then it goes on. Because at that point, you might even go so far as to look them up or something. But if you haven't caught on yet, there's going to be more. And this is where the directed conversation comes in. Okay, so 2 days later, 3 days later, you're driving, check this out, you randomly stop by the bank because you forgot that you need to, withdraw some cash or deposit cash. Doesn't matter. You're standing in line for the bank. There's people standing in line that came in before you did. They were already there waiting, right? And the dude's standing there and he starts talking about On Cloud running shoes. What a coincidence. My spouse or loved one mentioned them. I saw the people in a sandwich shop wearing them. And now there's people in a bank talking about them. What a coincidence. I wonder if there's something to these shoes. Maybe I should check them out, right? And what you're thinking is, I'm just following the signs. I'm just doing what everybody else does. Somebody mentioned it to me. I've overheard these conversations. And these people were already in the bank before I got there. So surely they're not following me. That's ridiculous. And that's how your brain that's how your brain comes to terms with all of it. And this happens your whole life and you don't even realize it. So that is how they use directed conversations to influence people. And when you're out and about, you think, oh, that's so, how odd. Oh, what a coincidence. these people have become coincidence theorists. That's what they are. They're not like they want to call me a conspiracy theorist, which I'm not. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just a fact-driven individual who they probably really don't like. This is tied in with the mind control, you guys. Okay, so check this out. What do you do? Like, let's say you're talking to somebody, okay? You meet somebody. What are you into? What do you talk about? You talk about news, right? You talk about music, movies, books, sports, maybe philosophy. All this stuff is a distraction, all of it, especially the news, music, movies, books, which I always thought were like just really good. I always thought that like books were like there's just nothing bad about a book. You know what I mean? I couldn't never judge a book by its cover. But there, the books, there's so many books out there that are misinformation, that are just telling us just straight up lies. And we accept them as truth. It's all part of the mind control. And what I want you to know, if you're a targeted individual, which if you're asking yourself, am I targeted? You are. If you're asking yourself, am I targeted? You are. And the funny thing is that all the people in the SS, all the people at Creekside, the church I grew up going to, all the elders there that are into the PED stuff, you know, they all know all about this stuff. They all know about the news, music, movies, books, sports. It's the bread and circuses. They talk about it in, I think, ancient Greece or Rome. It's the distract them with bread and circuses. Bread and circuses are like our NFL football teams, our NBA basketball teams, our movies, our music festivals, which are like highly satanic now, by the way. Look at the Travis Scott thing. And there's Hollywood people that aren't even commenting on it. They haven't, the Kardashians and people like that, they won't say anything about it because they're happy that that happened. That was representative of what is happening all over the country. People dying and portals opening up. The funny thing is that we have it in our mind that these portals are like, oh, something that we can't understand, and they open up in the air. Oh, no. They're just lying to us, and they just dug a bunch of holes in the ground. That's it. That's what the portals are, quote unquote. Ridiculous. All right, so let's continue talking about targeted individuals a little bit in TIs. If you are a TI, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I said yesterday, it's something that you don't want to hear. It's something I didn't want to hear, and I still don't want to hear it. If you're a TI, tighten up. Tighten the F up. If you are targeted, you have to tighten up. Why? Because when you walk out of your door, or when you pick up that phone, or when you jump on social media, you actually have your quote-unquote friends and family trying to direct you and your life and influence you, and they're trying to find any chink in your armor so they can bring it up to you and they can exploit it. Do you see how this is tied in with the narcissistic abuse? Because what the things that they're doing are so horrible and so wrong. They need to find scapegoats like people like me so that they can sit there and say that I am the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here pointing my finger, not even fully knowing who I'm pointing my finger at. Who am I pointing my finger at? My high school girlfriend, Joanna, her dad used to do this. Mr. Brown. He was a professor at the University of Florida. He would do this when he was driving with the steering wheel at the other drivers. Funny story about that. When I was in New Mexico and I was like being messed with heavily, right? This was the night that there was an FBI agent in the room next to me who was like not trying to hide, like they wanted me to know he was in the room next to me. But anyways, I'm driving from like Albuquerque, New Mexico, like up to Denver, and the cars that were coming towards me, I started doing that thing that Mr. Brown used to do. Professor Brown used to do. He's a professor of environmental engineering or something at the university. Check this out, you guys. I started doing that to cars that were passing me. The cars that were approaching me started doing that back to me. Like they knew that I was doing. And that's when I was like, this is around the time I was like, man, these people are in like rapid communication with each other. You know, that was one of the things that kind of led me to that conclusion. All right, so if you are a targeted individual, it's sink or swim. It is sink or swim for you. period. And if you feel like people are messing with you, they are. And the people that are, if you're like homeless or near homeless, there's a reason for that. All right. I can only tell you what's true for me. I can't tell you what's true for you. But what was true for me was that because of the weight of all this, because of just the unbearableness of it with the family and the friends turning on me, I continued to relapse because of this stuff. So if you're anything like me, you probably have a substance abuse problem. But let me tell you something. If you're doing any kind of alcohol or downers or anything like that, let me give you a reason to stop. They are doing things to you while you are asleep, most likely. And it is, check this out. Let's say that you're taking Xanax, alprazolam, right? Let's say you take 2 milligrams of Xanax and you knock back, 3 or 4 beers. Well, all it takes is just you falling asleep, and then anybody can really knock you out then. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you just wake up groggy. Oh, well, I took some Xanax and blah, blah, blah. You got to sober up. You have to stop drinking. You have to stop drinking. And if you're taking opiates, get off of them. At least get on some Suboxone. I suggest medical marijuana. I really do. All right, but that's, okay. So definitely do not take, if they have you on antidepressants and stuff like that, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice, but I am of the opinion that what you need to do if you are being given antidepressants, okay, you need to wean yourself off of them as quickly as possible. They are meant to slow you down. They're meant to make your libido stop working. They're meant to make your brain stop working. If you are targeted, you need to invest in yourself, okay? That means, let me tell you some of the things that I do. Because if you're a targeted individual, you've been hearing negative self-talk your whole life, okay? And you're still hearing it now. It's just disguised as all this other stuff. So what I do is I listen to these 8-hour, 9-hour-long positive affirmation, deep meditation things. And I listen to them while I'm sleeping. So while I'm sleeping, I have this soft, soothing voice saying, you are beautiful. You are good enough. You know what I mean? You are triumphant. You are, you know what I'm saying? Like all these just really positive things, and they're seeping into my subconscious because I have been programmed. I have been literally programmed by a computer programmer who worked at the University of Florida, and by all accounts looks like he was some kind of Mossad CIA agent. He spent 4 or 5 years over in Israel. My brother was born over there in 1977, which is a very significant date for the SS. And I think he was born on the 6th day of February. The 6th, the number 6, we all know how significant that is. Or maybe it was the 8th. It may have been the 8th day of February. I can never remember. But listen, like this is something that I did. I bought one of these, you guys. Does anybody know what this is? Anybody? Your local police department doesn't have these. I know because I've been talking with them. Let me tell you what this is. This is a radio frequency bug detector. So I have airplane mode on this phone, but as I move it closer, you see, that's triggering from my cell phone. See? So this is a useful device. You can turn off all your cell phones and stuff like that and take this in your car, and provided that you don't have a GPS in your car or like a low jack in your car and it's an older vehicle, you can see if you have what I have in my car. It looks like I have something that responds to or works with a RC30 proximity sensor. Why would I have an RC30 proximity sensor in my car? I don't know, you guys. The only thing I can think of is so people can keep tabs on me. And it's real interesting because it goes off a lot in Butler Beach, which is where, like, you know, my parents used to take me to the beach when I was a little kid. It's one of the first memories I ever have. One of the first memories I ever have was in like Crescent Beach, Butler Beach, and I was like in the waves with my mom. It's one of like the best memories. And she kept saying, here comes a big one, here comes a big one. And she was lifting me up over the waves. I just remember these huge waves coming and just having so much fun. You know what I mean? Being in the ocean. I remember driving up over the intercoastal and seeing the ocean and smelling the salt air. This is something that's really interesting, you guys. For me, it's probably my nose, man, but like the ocean, it doesn't smell like it used to me at all. It does not smell. The ocean does not smell like it used to me. And we're talking about the difference of like 30 years here. So yeah, I'm guessing it's my nose, but I don't know, man. I think it's probably the pollution, It's probably the pollution. All right, so let's talk about narc abuse and big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. Big tech censorship. The narcissistic abuse is tied in with the big tech censorship because this is what they're doing with me. Okay, it's classic narcissistic abuse. And this is tied in with a conversation I had yesterday with somebody from the Hofer family in Gainesville, Florida. This person claimed to be a mental health counselor and have worked with the military. I don't know what she was talking about, right? But, okay, so let me talk to you about this conversation I had with one of the Hofers yesterday. It's a girl, she was younger sister of my friend Ben growing up. And so I'm talking to her about somebody that we both know, that her and I both know, okay? And it's something that I'm going to bring up on my show soon, but this is the conversation I had with her. I said, listen, this person who we both know has PED symbols hanging on their front door and has PED symbols to the left side of their door. The symbols are symbols that are recognized by the FBI. I didn't and I'm telling her this over Facebook. I'm like, I didn't decide that these are bad symbols. I discovered what they mean from the FBI. And she said, Josh, I think you need to see a doctor. That was her response. A mental health counselor who says she says she works with kids. Do you know what that means, you guys? All right, let me keep telling you about the conversation because this is just insanity. This happened yesterday evening, and this is why my show's called Conspiracy in Real Time, because this stuff is happening to me daily, and I have to talk about it because if I try to talk about this all at once, it just, it would take me days. All right, so when I was talking to one of the Hofers yesterday, one of the younger Hofers, I can't dox them, right? I'd like to, but I'm not. So I feel like saying the last name is better than the first name, right? Because they live in Gainesville. Again, the father works at the University of Florida. What a surprise. So I'm talking to her and I said, look, this person has the symbols on her front door and next to her door. And also inside of her house, you'll find photo albums with a lot of pictures of naked children in them. And I also told her about the thing that I think I have in my car. What is her response, you guys? This is the narcissistic abuse. Her response is to tell me that she knows this person and she would never do anything like that. So right there, it's a total outright denial of it's an invalidation of everything that I'm saying. Just, you are wrong, right? It's just straight up, you are wrong about the person. Because, and this is what you have to pay close attention to. She didn't address any of the facts that I brought up. None of them. And I said, listen, it looks like the Right to Life movement is being used as like a trafficking operation. And I'm telling you, I was abused growing up. And she said, peace and love, peace and love. And I said, yo, this has happened to all of us. And she said, what do you mean? I said, it happened to all of us. Little Hofer. That's her last name, Hofer, too. We got to pay attention to these names. All right, so this is what she says. She says, I think you need to go see a doctor. I'm really worried about you. And I said, I don't need to see a doctor. I need somebody to listen to what I'm saying, and I need a friend in this. And that was around the time I started asking her, I said, do you have children? Because as soon as I realized these people like are not on my side, in fact, they're there to F with me, oh, it turns out they have kids too, and they also live in Gainesville. I disapprove. I disapprove of you. So like, she said, listen, you really need to go get help. I'm like, go get help for what, Hofer? I said, and that's her last name, Hofer, all right? So I said, go get help for what, Hofer? I said, and this is how the conversation ended with her blocking me. I said, just to be clear, I am asking you, a mental health counselor who claims they work with children, if you will address the PED symbols on this person's door, the PED symbols sitting next to their house in relation to the FBI saying they are PED symbols. And I said, listen, since you're saying that you know them so well and you're friends with them, why don't you go over there and look at the, I was like, are you telling me that because, oh, this is what she started saying. She started saying that I was having anxiety. That was it. Oh, I think that you're just having a lot of anxiety. And I said, Hofer, my anxiety didn't cause this person to put PED symbols on their front door. My anxiety didn't cause PED symbols to apparently just pop up because there's 2 more of them on the house. My anxiety didn't cause this person to put naked pictures of children in her photo albums. Like, this, not all of them are displayed, but some of them are. They're like displaying them, not doing any S stuff, but displaying them. So I said, my anxiety did not cause any of this stuff. But just to be clear, you're telling me as a mental health counselor that instead of addressing these 3 things, you think I need to go get mental help? I said, this is classic narcissistic abuse. And I can't believe that you would call yourself a counselor. Boom, she blocks me. Oh, and the last thing I said was, how many children do you have? How many children? And boom, she blocked me. Look, your jigs are up. All your jigs are up. Every single one of them. All your jigs are up. I don't really know how else to put it. And what's the solution? Oh, okay, look. If somebody asks you, this is how the narcissistic abuse works. And this is how they're told. If somebody asks you a question that you don't want to answer, you just, or that is like off subject that we cannot talk about, all you do is call the person crazy. And if everybody calls the person crazy, then they're crazy. Except for one thing. Like, I'm sitting here talking, and none of the people, I'm sitting here talking about me, and I'm telling you, I'm giving full disclosure. So none of the people that will call me crazy will sit here and discuss this stuff with me, because I will talk them into a corner. And they will hang up the phone on me, or they will rip the microphone off and get up and walk away. I promise you. You think you've seen heavy-hitting reporting and heavy-hitting questions and stuff like that? Oh, man. And I know all the laws about public streets and all this stuff. I'm legally allowed to go knock on these people's doors. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I know where, like, a lot of them are. And now that I've caught on, and this ties in with the targeting, now that I know that they are poisoning the food I eat and stuff, look at me. Do I look unhealthy? I'm looking at myself. I don't. But mark my words, within the next 5 to 10 years, I am going to get some kind of cancer. I promise you that. And I'm praying against it. I'm putting energy out against it. I'm thinking against it. I'm thinking positively, but like, that is the way it goes for people like me who won't stop yapping. And it'll probably come in the form of cancer. And at this point, I'm so freaking horrified to go to a doctor. Like, I would have gone to Jay Lynch, who is a doctor at Shands in Gainesville, because he's a family friend and he's a cancer doctor and all this stuff. There's no way in a million years I'm going to go see him, because I'm questioning his motives. I'm questioning what he's really all about. Is he like one of these people that's masquerading around as a Luciferian? I would bet my entire paycheck that he is. Which means, this is the messed up stuff about this stuff, you guys. These people worked as doctors at the University of Florida. This person works with cancer patients. He, according to him, out of his own mouth, on a daily basis, he tells people how long they have to live. How easy would it be for somebody in that position to meet somebody who is like me, a good person who actually believes in the good Lord? Oh yeah, you have terminal cancer. We'll try to save you. Here's a bunch of radiation and like chemo stuff, and then that's how they kill you. They kill you with the chemo under the guise of helping you. I think the only people that die of cancer are people that won't play ball with them. Because I don't think, look, guys, I'm like 99% sure that they absolutely have a cure for cancer. Maybe not a cure for the specific cancers, but I have a feeling that the concentrated red fluid they're drinking is probably a cure-all for that stuff. It probably leaves you with some other problems. But like, it seems like things like exercise and good diet can probably handle all that. I don't know. What am I doing today for Thanksgiving? We're just talking about food. I'm not going to eat anything with anybody. My family isn't going to call me. I'd actually like them to, because I want to talk about this stuff. That's probably why they're not going to call me. Okay, so I still haven't talked about the big tech censorship, but okay, so if I post a video, let me tell you how this works for me, guys. If I post a video on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, if I post a question on Quora, if I post on Reddit, I deleted my Twitter accounts because on every single one of them, I'm shadow banned. What shadow banning is I post, right? And it's happening to me right now. You know what I mean? I'm live on Facebook. I've had one person come in. Do you see what I'm saying? That's it. It just doesn't add up. With my TikToks, you can go look at my TikTok account and you can see I have like 6,000 followers, but my videos only have like 50, 60 views because they're shadow banned. So what it does is it doesn't let me, the creator, know that anything's changed. When I log in, everything looks just hunky-dory and I just go to posting and blah, blah, blah. And, on YouTube, I'm starting to think that like I know this is true. Most all of my subs, we have like over 100 subscribers right now, which thank you. Like the subscribers going actually really well, considering. I mean, I've been getting like 5 or 10 a day the last couple days, and that's great. I need you guys to share my content, and I think that somebody out there is going to start listening, or really listening. And anyways, when I post anything on any social media or go live or whatever, I think everything's hunky-dory, everything's fine. I don't know how they get the other people if they just don't show them that I'm live, or if when they try to go in it, my video's all glitchy, which is why I'm doing both. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm live on Facebook, I'm taping my YouTube show, and then I'll post on TikTok as well. But it's all to get people to watch my YouTube show. It's all about the YouTube show, because this is where I can sit down and like get it out and like really talk about what's going on, what's happened, what's going on, and what is happening. So I need your help. I need your help. I need you to send whatever videos of mine you find the most moving or most interesting, direct link, send those and share them with your friends and family, or on your message boards. I need people to post my stuff on the darknet, because I don't have a way to get on darknet message boards. So if any of you guys are messing around with Tor browsers, I need you to post my stuff on the darknet, like 4chan. I need to figure out what 4chan and 8chan's about and start posting on there, because it seems like I might be like good. Maybe I'll be like a 4chan hit. I don't know. 2chan or whatever it's called. 8chan. All right. Moving on, we're going to talk about our last topic, which is the underground. This is the underground. Welcome to the underground. This is the underground. Welcome to the underground. It was all about the underground. Think about Harry Potter and how they and all of a sudden they're in a magic world, right? Well, I'm sure underground, where all these technologies and stuff are not being hidden and they're being used probably in plain sight, it probably does look super magical. It seems magical, right? If you get closer to the center of the earth, there's probably less gravity. There's probably no gravity in the center of Earth. That might have something to do with stopping the aging process. I'm just guessing, I don't know. I'm just thinking about movies. You have to understand the impact that the movies have had on me. That they're so pompous and so cocky, and they're so addicted. You see, you have to understand everything that I know about addiction. I know a lot about addiction. I know almost everything there is to know about addiction. I know a lot about mental health. I know a lot about agriculture. I know a lot about agriculture. A lot. I worked for the University of Florida for 5 years for their Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, IFAS, IFAS. I worked for their News and Media Relations Department, so I was taking photos for big news articles that would get released through the Associated Press. I've been printed through the Associated Press. I've been printed in every newspaper in Florida. My photographs have been printed in every newspaper in Florida. The reason that I have discovered actual locations where these portals are, where people are seemingly coming up from out of the ground, right? The reason I have discovered all that, and the reason I've put together the connections with the architecture and all the P stuff, the PED stuff, is because they would not stop messing with me. That's why. That's why. It's because they tried to control me so much, and it's because they would not stop messing with me. That's why. That's how I've been able to discover this. It's both of our faults. You see what I'm saying? Because I got to a point where I couldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Because I could tell that I was going to discover something. I was going to figure something out. And I'm glad that I didn't. I almost gave up so many times, you guys. You have no idea. You have no idea how difficult this has been. You have no idea. I still don't fully understand how difficult this has been. And I'm hoping and praying that there's some people in some 3-letter agencies that are like, at least scratching their heads a little bit, like, how did he figure this out? Because a lot of the story for me has been like that dude from Slumdog Millionaire, when he knows the answers to all these questions, and the guy's like, how would you know that? And he's like, well, let me tell you. That's me. I'm serious. That's me. I'm like a Slumdog Millionaire. Like, I know the answers to all these questions, and I can sit here and explain congruently how and why I know and understand this stuff. If I was a paranoid schizophrenic, I would not be able to make a 36-minute video wherein I discuss topics in a way that, quite frankly, a lot of other people would not be able to. Just simply would not be able to. If I was a paranoid schizophrenic, I would not be able to. Take all of these life experiences that I've had and combine them together and you know what I'm saying, like a Street Fighter, Hadouken, They are doing something underground. I want people to post. What are the laws? What are the laws on digging underground in your own property? What are the laws? How deep can you dig? How deep can you dig? Oh, you see, I'm crazy. I'm clearly crazy. I just mixed 2 words up. Look, I challenge the people who are saying these things about me to sit here and do a 40-minute video where they are just themselves like me and just laying it out. They can't. They cannot do it. Just like the hofer yesterday, the little hofer who spoke with me, they gotta block me. Because I'm like, look, so this is how it gets with them. This is what narcissists hate, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and bounce. Let me tell you this. Let me give you a real gem here. I'm serious. They hate being cornered into a yes or no answer. A yes or no. And that's how you get them. That's how I got the hofer yesterday. I was like, I'm asking you a question, and I need you to answer it yes or no. If this stuff was going on, and if my parents were in fact Satanists masquerading around as Christians and doing a bunch of PED stuff, would you want to know? That's the question that you need to ask yourself, Hofer. Would you want to know? Do you want to know? If that stuff is going on, do you want to know? And that was when she said, I think you need to see a doctor, Josh. I'm like, yo, you're only like the 70th person to do that at that exact same time. Like, when it comes time to answer a question, that's when you tell me I'm crazy? No, man. You are messed up in the head if you think that the solution to all this is just to call me crazy because I'm sitting here talking. Anybody with half of a brain, and I mean this literally, like with a half of a brain or a half of a working brain, will look and listen to me and know that I'm giving it to you straight. They're just going to know. Why are they going to know? Because you're getting lied to by like everybody. Everybody on TV is lying to you. All the reality shows are fake. Trust me. There's some like realness to them, but they're all staged and all fake, you guys. all the authenticity that you think you're seeing with politicians is totally fake. So when somebody like me comes along who is authentic, people are going to grasp hold of it, because authenticity is what is going to sell in the future. It's not faking authenticity like Dustin Nemos or Jordan Sather, who are all plasticky and worried they might say the wrong thing and talk all slow because they're doing the mind control thing. Yo, man, I challenge any one of those guys to a metaphorical duel. You know what I'm saying? To a debate. I'll challenge Jordan Sather to a debate, because he's going to walk away from it either failing or joining Team Stonecutter. He's going to be one of the two. And that's pretty much the position that I put these people in. I'm putting my high school journalism teacher in that position right now. And it's interesting because he still hasn't watched and liked my video. So, Mr. Owens, please, please, like, you are a great inspiration to me. I don't care what your proclivities may or may not be. I just want your support as somebody who cares about the truth in journalism. That's why I want your support. I don't care if you're involved in the PED stuff. Just statistically speaking, geographically speaking, it doesn't look good for you. But I'm not here to talk about that, and I'm not worried about that. Because I'm telling you, there's bigger stuff going on, believe it or not. And the PED stuff is just a cover for something else. The PED stuff is just a cover for something else. And what a good cover, because people are gonna get hung up on it and distracted by it. And that's something that people will debate and argue and fight over for maybe even centuries. I don't know. But listen, they are at a point right now where they have everything set up to where all they have to do is unveil themselves, is just reveal themselves. That's pretty much where we're at, and that's what scares me. That's really all they have to do. Like, it could be like a week or a month from now, and everybody might start flying some weird flags outside their house that you've never seen before. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, something like that might be getting ready to happen. You know, I don't know. Me talking about how I haven't been working that well has helped me feel like I need to work more. It's Thanksgiving Day today, and I may actually go work. I may go work for a couple hours today, because I have a spot and I have the ability to possibly, good Lord willing, maybe go make, $200, $500 in just a day. So I might also do a two-header. I might do another video. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know I talk a lot about a lot of stuff. If you're confused about any of this stuff, ask specific questions. I do not answer general bullcrap questions. That's what the SS does. They ask me just general questions that are like gaslighting with backdoor insults included in the question. You know what I mean? Or like they give me advice when I'm not asking anybody for any advice, okay? I'm not asking for any advice. I would like your opinions on all this stuff. But anyways, you guys, it's all about the architecture. I can tell where a lot of these places are just by looking at the front of the building. That's how smart I am. And that's what I've learned. And maybe that's why I'm on the Department of Homeland Security's watch list. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys.